What's up, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with Tesla SPY in the overall market. We'll talk about some very key levels to watch for and why the market saw a very interesting reaction to PCE data. But just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link. If you deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. If you deposit $1,000, you're guaranteed 15 in total. Not to mention 8.1% APY in uninvested cash. The offer is very soon in just 11 days. Anyways, let's talk about the market. So Tesla in the market saw a big dump starting. This actually started off during the after hours yesterday. And going into today, we got this huge dump for Tesla all the way down to 410. However, despite that happening, we saw buyers try to defend it right there, and we managed to reclaim our 50 EMA at 419. So Tesla's back in the range I was talking about from yesterday, and there are buyers trying to defend it. There's a very good amount of them. So I'm going to talk about why Tesla dumped the way it did. Same thing happened to SPY, by the way. We dumped all the way down to about the 577 area. I said to everyone that if we lost 584, expect 576. We came very close to that. And now I think that with this gap above, we'll have to see if we get a rebound, especially as Tesla's trying to rebound. But let's talk about what just happened. So we started off with some bad news. Keep in mind, I'm going to go over the full picture. Right now, we have all these sources saying Tesla's recalling 700,000 vehicles due to tire pressure monitoring systems that have issues, right? Right over here, same thing. Tesla recalls 700,000 vehicles. Yahoo Finance is reporting from Reuters Tesla is recalling 700,000 vehicles over tire pressure issues, blah, 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 right? But here's the actual truth. Tesla is releasing a software update to address the recall of 694,000 of these vehicles. And that's something very different from what is oftentimes reported. So I just want to say that a lot of these mainstream news sources love to scream Tesla has a recall, has this, has that. And the solution, okay, the solution to this is one simple software update. Okay. That's not your typical conventional, overall recall. This is very different. And I think that Tesla doesn't necessarily get as much credit for this. They just try to make it seem as if like Teslas have so many issues to this and that. This is not the same thing as a conventional recall. So what's happening is the NHTSA is the one that recommended these changes because of the fact that they had to address an issue with the warning lights on the tire pressure monitoring system. And then this impacted vehicles that had the previous software releases. So that's the reason why they had to do this update. The recall covered certain Model 3s from 2017 to 2025, Model Ys from 2020 to 2025, and then the Cybertruck from 2024. Once again, that's very important, but hopefully Tesla has once again fixed the issue with the software update and things are going to be fine. And just know, guys, do not listen to all these mainstream news sources or just look at the headlines and then think you have the full picture. The full picture is not going to be shown in the headlines. They tend to be very biased just to get clicks and such. It's not just a massive recall. This is just a quick software update that fixed it. So anyways, so going back, okay, Tesla had this dump because of that news, all the way down to 410 a share. But buyers are defending it because then we got the PCE data report. And this is a little bit ironic because, when CPI came out, it was a little bit hot. This is actually decent. We got a good PCE report. So we had core PCE month over month for the month of November at 0.1%, below expectations. That's bullish. Besides that, we had a PCE this is year over year. This was also at 2.4%. This was below expectations. I think I skipped this one. PCE month over month for all items for November, 0.1% below expectations. And finally, core PCE year over year at 2.8% aligned with expectations. So, like I said before, guys, pretty decent data. Everything was aligned with expectations or below expectations. That's a good report for inflation. And if we start to see inflation trickle down again and again and again, that could once again be more positive for the Fed's policies and could incentivize them to cut more. That's why the market is liking this data. So far, so good. I also want to mention that at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have the Michigan Consumer Sentiment Report. This may cause volatility, so we'll see what happens with this. So watch and see what happens with these pieces of data coming out. I also want to call out that today is quadruple witching. We have a lot of option expirations. We have over 1.5 million calls expiring and over 3.5 million puts expiring with a 2.23 put to call ratio. If anything, max pin happens to be at 580, but one thing I do anticipate is there could be a small bounce because the market already dumped so much. So just keep that in mind. Why? Because once again, like I said, the key inflationary data the Fed uses shows 2.4% rate in November. That's lower than expected. Pretty decent data overall. For more news, I didn't see anything too significant for earnings, but I do want to call out some political stuff that's going on. Um, right now, there's been a lot of negotiation that's going on because of the fact that the U.S. could be entering a government shutdown. That could be part of why the stock market has been dipping. So we'll see how this ends up going with negotiations. Time is very limited, so we'll just have to wait and see how it goes, and then be very, very patient nonetheless. Besides that, I'm not seeing anything else that's too crazy. There are some Amazon strikes that are going on, but I think I went over Nike's earnings and others already, so I'm going to kind of skip it from there. Let's talk about the charts. So as far as Tesla is going, we're testing this previous support becoming resistance at this 428 area. If we could break this, I see potential for us to try to get closer to about 435 and then 440, which is where the 20 EMA happens to be. So watch 428, the 435 area, and then 440. If we break 440, we're looking for a push right back up to try to make a recovery move back up to this imbalance for the 450s. If we end up losing 419 or closing below that, that's going to be a sign of weakness. So let's hope that Tesla tries to bounce. I'm really hoping we attempt. As long as we can hold 419, we're going to be fine. Now, for now, we're attempting to rebound a bit, but there is that recall news, at least the mainstream media screaming it, that it's like a recall, even though it was fixed with the software update. So be careful. There was some negative news. I think that what's going to happen is we see a little shuffle here. There might be a little liquidity grab around the 425 area, and there's going to be an attempt to bounce. I think it's going to attempt to try to fill the gap over here and try to make our way back towards like 435. I think it's going to try to do that. And for now, we're just range bound between 440 and 420. So we might see a lot of sideways price action until we see one of the directions break to determine a much bigger move. But there will be an attempt to rebound, so give it some time to develop. For other factors out there, we have SPY. Okay, SPY, it's dumped here. I attempted to rebound yesterday off the 20 EMA, and I called out a weakness, and then we dumped again. Now, yes, we've dumped really hard, but here's the thing. We technically came very close to filling that gap. So we'll have to see if we could base around 576. As long as we hold that, this could attempt to rebound to fill this gap back up to 584 to 585. So I think that's whether we get one more dip and then bounce, or if we just bounce from here, we might be coming back up. There are a lot of puts expiring, so I wouldn't be surprised if they try to push the market a little bit higher. So look for an attempt to rebound on SPY is the most likely possibility. Like I said before, PCE data was decent, so this might attempt to push back up to fill this gap soon. We'll see if there's one more liquidity grab down here. So in case 580 doesn't hold, we could retest the low at 577 and eventually 576. And then we should try to bounce in that range. If we get back above 582, we're looking for 584 as our target, eventually 586. Look for a dip and a bounce, and this should attempt to rebound. I am leaning a bit more in favor of that, especially as we have this gap up here. And also because there's so many puts expiring, so we'll have to see about that. For ES, we're on a bit of a downtrend here, but we are holding 58.65. We'll see if we could try to turn back up for 59.25 and eventually 59.50 for a small bounce. I do see some potential in this. I'll give it some time to develop. As far as Nvda has gone, we got this big dump all the way down to 126 only to get bought back up. So we're going to be watching to see if this could attempt to get back up to 132. I want to see it close above our 20 EMA or even our 50 EMA to turn more bullish. We're not there yet. We're technically on a downtrend, but there will be an attempt to get up to at least 132 or above on Nvidia. So look for a small bounce. Bitcoin, it dumped all the way down to 92,000. If we lose that, we're looking for a dump all the way down to about 90,729. If we rebound, we're looking for about 96,269. This might rebound for the 96,000. If we break that, we're looking for 98,000. So we'll see if that ends up being the case. Oh, and by the way, about Nvidia, I forgot to mention, in case it does, it fails at 130, make sure you watch 127.7 is one of our main supports, very close to 128. I'm hoping it gets a rebound first nonetheless, so I just wanted to call that out. For NQ, we dumped pretty hard, close to about 21,000. Hoping for a rebound to about 21,300, if not towards 21,420. Might rebound a bit, and we'll see what kind of reaction we get. As long as we don't lose 21,000, I'm going to be favoring that. But if we lose 21,000, I will turn bearish again. We'd be looking for 20,800 as a target. For now, it looks like it might attempt to bounce thanks to PCE being decent. So 21,290 could be coming. And then for the QQQ, we dumped, just like I was talking about yesterday, how we could be dipping. We hit 505, but just notice we're holding our 200 EMA. So 508 is a key support. If we hold 508, this could attempt to rebound for 515. At the very least, I would actually be looking at like 513.5. But if we lose 508, I will be a little bit more concerned for a retest of 505. So whether we do get that retest or not, this should attempt to rebound for like 510. And eventually 513.5 is a possibility. For Apple, we're range bound. We have 249 as resistance and 246.5 as support. We're going to go back and forth for now and see which way it breaks for a bigger direction. For the IWM Russell 2000, we are on a bit of a downtrend for now, as once again small caps are showing weakness, but we're at support right here around 217. We also have support at 215-ish. So I think that we could visit 217 to 215 again, and we'll see if we bounce. If we lose 215, I could turn more bearish, but we'll have to see about that. I'm hoping it kind of comes down here and tries to rebound for 220, so give it some time. For coin, we already dumped so much. I'm looking for a retest of 273. We have to reclaim this to push for like the 280s. Otherwise, we could hit 273 and reject. So look for an attempt to push for 273. We'll have to see how it goes from here, whether we get a bounce or not. For Amazon is on a bit of a downtrend. I did call out how we had this gap to fill and we could get a rejection. We're trying to hold 216. So look at this. This is previous resistance becoming support at 216. As long as we hold that, we could attempt to rebound for 210. We'll have to see if that holds or not. I'm sorry, 223.5. Excuse me, guys. 223 is going to be coming as long as we hold 216. If 216 fails, I could be looking for a bigger dip to 214, but we'll see about that. I'm hoping the 215, 216 area holds, and we try to bounce off this to get back up to 223. For Meta, we have 586 is the main support. If we bounce off this, we're looking for 597. If not, we could be dumping lower. So let's hope we get a bounce there. Microsoft, as long as we don't lose 430, we could attempt to bounce for 436. If 430 fails, let's look for a bigger dip, but this is looking like it wants to get back to the gap fill. Same thing with Google. We're looking a little bit weaker because we came down to about 185. If that fails us, I'm going to be looking for 183.9, then eventually 180. But as long as we hold support, we could attempt to rebound for 188 or above. So give this some more time. Anyways, that's it for my video. We'll see if the market gets a small rebound. I do anticipate that's the most likely case. We might re-grab liquidity towards the lows just to start things off, but we'll see if we get a bounce to try to fill some of these gaps. I see potential in the market because of the fact that it's quadruple witching, and the market makers may try to pull a fast one on both sides. So Tesla is range bound between 420 and 440 for now. We'll see which way we hold. Look for a small attempt to push upon open, and we'll see how well it holds in this range. But just know we have to be very patient nonetheless, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you for listening, and peace out.